What is up, everyone? My name is Jack Southall, back again with another video, and today I'm here with my WWE Money in the Bank 2019 predictions. And looking at this match card on paper, I actually think we get a pretty decent show out of it. I mean, Money in the Bank ladder matches are usually pretty entertaining, and the Universal title match on paper does look like it could be a match of the year candidate. And there are definitely a lot of matches that could be very surprisingly good. But if you have the displeasure of watching what's going on the main roster right now, and whatever that mess of a television program known as Raw has been since like after WrestleMania, it's just the show doesn't look that interesting because the build-up has just been so messy and just so all over the place. Because I don't know what's been going on with Vince McMahon since the end of WrestleMania 35. Like, I'm starting to get really sick of the way he's been booking Raw and SmackDown. It seems like when there's 10 minutes left, he just scrambles together a bunch of answers. Like, you know how you'll do a test, like you'll do, I don't know, Naplan or something like that, and there's like 10 minutes left on the clock, so you just fill out whatever random shit you have left on the paper. I feel like that's what Vince McMahon does when it comes to writing Raw. Like, he'll just think of, Revival looks like bitches to the Usos. Yep, put that down. Or, I want Roman Reigns to be on Raw, wildcard rule, because the ratings are down. And, yeah, because Roman Reigns is obviously going to be the savior of your ratings, and definitely not because the shows are terribly written and no one really gives a shit about them. But enough of me ranting about how bad Raw is for like the 10 millionth time. Let's just get into the actual pay-per-view predictions, because that's the name of the video and that's what you're here to see. So on the pre-show, we have Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, taking on the Usos. Now, this actually isn't for the championship, which I'm kind of surprised about, but yeah, it's kind of a bugger to see Daniel Bryan on the pre-show. Like, the dude just won the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Like, imagine going from a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania to the pre-show of Money in the Bank. It reminds me of that promo Randy Orton cut back in like 2006, where it's like, that's going from being in a summer blockbuster to like hardcore porn or something like that. But yeah, I predict Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to win this match. I mean, they've just become SmackDown Tag Team Champions. It'd be dumb for the WWE to let their champions lose. But then again, WWE seems to do that every other week on Raw, so it wouldn't be that much of a surprise for the Usos to pick up a win against Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I honestly don't know why this feud is a thing. I guess it's because, I guess on SmackDown, Shane McMahon told Daniel Bryan and Rowan to beat up Roman Reigns and The Miz, and the Usos came and make the save and all that. So I guess that's where it sort of makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, give the victory to Daniel Bryan and Rowan. Then we get to the actual match card. We'll talk about the Cruiserweight Championship match. I'm surprised this isn't on the pre-show. Tony Nese, the new champion, defending against Ariya Daivari. I can't really give that much of an opinion on this match since I haven't been watching 205 Live. Just after I watch SmackDown, I just don't really feel the need to watch any more WWE, because I feel like 2 hours is more than enough. But I reckon Tony Nese is going to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. I can't really give a proper reason why, but I guess it's because he just won the championship. And Ariya Daivari, I don't know what he's like on 205 Live, so I can't really give that much of an in-depth analysis on this match. So yeah, Tony Nese to get the victory. Then we get to the United States Championship match. Samoa Joe defending against Rey Mysterio in a WrestleMania rematch. I hope they give him a lot more time in this match. I know Rey Mysterio, the match they had at WrestleMania was cut down very, very short because of Rey's injury that he had. But since Rey seems to be a bit more healed up now, which is good. And I believe the story going into this, there's something involving Dominic, which is giving me terrible flashbacks from 2005. But as long as these two guys don't have a ladder match over the custody of him, I think this feud is going to be fine. Yeah, Samoa Joe loves going after people's family. It's almost like he wants to be a really good heel or something. But yeah, I think just like at WrestleMania, Samoa Joe is going to retain the United States Championship. I just really hope these two have a good match with each other, as I don't know, I think Rey Mysterio has been so good since he's come back to the WWE. I think it's so refreshing to see him back on a WWE roster. Like, I've always felt very weird when Rey Mysterio is not part of the roster, and now that he's back, it's just great to see, and he feels a lot more athletic, kind of like he was in the 90s. Obviously not that much since he is a lot older, but it is nice to see Rey kind of pick up his feet again and all that. And as for Samoa Joe, he's a fantastic heel, and I remember saying this in a couple of videos ago, but you need to keep that championship on him. He's so good, man. So yeah, my pick is Samoa Joe. Then we get to The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. The feud between these two still raging on. That Falls Count Anywhere match wasn't enough. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a weird prediction here. I reckon this match is gonna go to like a draw or a no contest, and the reason is we all know it's Shane McMahon's thing to like jump off ridiculously high things. So I'm guessing in this match, Shane McMahon and The Miz, they're going to do a spot near the end where, like, I don't know, Shane tries to climb up the cage, and then The Miz also climbs up the side of the cage, and it'll be the side of the cage that is opposite to the announce tables and shit. So they'll, like, be on the top, they'll just be punching each other, and Shane, being the suicidal maniac that he is, will probably grab Miz from the top, or maybe Miz grabs Shane, either, and they both jump off the cage, crash through the table, and almost paralyze themselves, because that's what we love to see those guys do, is try to paralyze themselves. So yeah, it's going to end in a no contest, and probably their feud, this wouldn't be the way their feud would end, and I think at the next pay-per-view, which I think is called Stomping Ground. I'm not even mad at that name anymore. That's the point. WWE, we all know they're terrible at naming shit, so I'm not even that angry about it. But yeah, I reckon this match is going to end in a draw with both guys jumping off the cage and trying to kill each other. We'll talk about Roman Reigns, the big top dog, taking on Elias. Roman Reigns. No explanation needed. It's just Roman Reigns. I mean, Elias, I don't think he's going to be that guy who is going to he's going to be remembered for like long title reigns and putting on 5-star matches. He is a wrestler that thrives on his character. His character is entertaining enough for him to lose and not really affect him that much, because people don't really like Elias because of how good of a wrestler he is. They like Elias because of how entertaining he is when it comes to cutting promos and playing the guitar and running down the audience. And I think this will probably be the weaker match on the card, like in ring wise. Hopefully they could tell a pretty decent story inside the ring, but yeah, Roman Reigns is he's gonna cock that fist, he's gonna Superman punch him, he's gonna spear him into oblivion and win the match, because that's what Roman Reigns does best, win matches. I guess we could talk about the 2 women's title matches, which include Becky Lynch defending her championships against both Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair in separate matches. We'll talk about, I'm not sure if they're going to do these matches back to back. I have a feeling they definitely could, and maybe the Money in the Bank winner, whoever wins the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, might have something to do with it, which I'll talk about more once we get to the Money in the Bank ladder matches. But yeah, so I'm guessing with the Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair match, I reckon these two could have a really good match. I'm not sure if people are sick of this feud already, because Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair obviously had a lot of matches last year in 2018, and obviously their feud is still going strong in 2019. But yeah, I hope Becky Lynch retains against Charlotte Flair, but yeah, I don't know, man. This is a very tough decision, because Charlotte Flair could definitely win the championship, because honestly, it all depends on what match goes first, if like the Lacey Evans match goes on first or the Charlotte Flair one. But yeah, I'm going to pick Becky Lynch to retain. And as for a match with Lacey Evans, I know if you follow me on Twitter, I don't really like Lacey Evans. I thought her coming out and just walking out and doing a little stupid fucking fashion show for no piss and reason was very annoying. However, she seems to be actually showing a bit of something. She's actually competing in matches, and she could grow on me over time. But as of right now, I'm still not on the Lacey Evans Like, I'm not a Lacey Evans fan at all, and I do hope Becky Lynch will whoop her ass. So, yeah, I'm going to say Becky 2 belts will retain her 2 belts. And then we'll talk about the Money in the Bank ladder matches. We'll talk about the women's one first. And the people in this match are Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella, and Nikki Cross, who's replacing Alexa Bliss because she's suffered a pretty nasty injury recently, which is not good, and I hope it doesn't really affect her career, because that would be such a shame for that to happen to her. But who do I think is going to win? Obviously, there are definitely a few good contenders, but then again, there's also some people that I know for sure are not winning it, like Dana Brooke. Like, I don't hate Dana Brooke or anything like that, but there is no way in hell she's winning it. There is no way in hell she's winning it. Natalya, she doesn't really need it. Carmella, she's already won it, so she doesn't need it. I'd love to see Ember Moon win it. That'd be great. Mandy Rose, honestly, that's something I could definitely see happening as well. But you know what? I'm going to pick Bayley to win Money in the Bank ladder match, because it's her match. She had a match with Becky Lynch on SmackDown maybe like a few weeks ago that was really good. She's been having some good matches on SmackDown, and I really think WWE should capitalize on that. And I don't want Bayley to kind of cash in like instantly on Becky Lynch, but like kind of build it up a little bit and just wait for her to eventually cash in on Becky. Like, maybe she could turn heel against Becky Lynch and she could have like a big character change and something like that. But yeah, I think they could go in a lot of directions with Bayley if she wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that could be the spark she needs to get her career back on track, because you know, now that Sasha seems to pretty much be done with WWE at this point, which that team with her and Sasha is pretty much over with, and now she kind of has to go out on her own. They could tell a lot of great stories with Bayley and getting back to where she was, similar to she was on NXT and on Raw for the first, when she was on there, and becoming the Raw Women's Champion. But yeah, just a lot of directions they could go with Bayley. So yeah, I want Bayley to win personally. Then we get to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and we've got Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. Randy Orton's not going to win. I'd be super happy if Andrade won. Like, I'd be stoked to see Andrade win that match. Mustafa, no, he's not Mustafa Ali anymore. We gotta cut some names because Vince's Alzheimer's is kicking in, guys. Ali, excuse me. I reckon he's gonna do some cool shit in this match alongside with Ricochet. Like, I'm having a full-on stiffy thinking of the stuff Ricochet is gonna do in this match. Like, he's gonna do 20,000 flips in a row and probably, I don't know, do some crazy shit. Like, seriously, like do a handstand on the ladder and do like 2 backflips onto Baron Corbin or something like that off of it. It would be fucking sick. Baron Corbin, just no. Do not give it to Baron Corbin. But I'm really scared. I think they might actually do it. But I'm not going to pick him because fuck Baron Corbin. Who do I think is going to win? I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. I feel like this should be the time that Drew goes after the championship for the Universal Championship, because the way Drew's been pushed this year, it really looks like sooner or later he's going to get that Universal Championship, and I think him winning the Money in the Bank ladder match would be the perfect opportunity to do so, and he might even cash it in on tonight's pay-per-view even, if he wants to go that far. If Seth Rollins and AJ just have an absolute bar burner and he cashes in on Seth and he wins the Universal title, they could definitely do that and set up a feud between the two. But yeah, I'm picking Drew McIntyre to win this match. I think he's looked very strong this year, and I think a Universal Championship opportunity for him would not hurt at all. Then we get to the 2 championship matches. We'll talk about Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. I actually haven't minded the build-up to this match. I think Kevin Owens, who we all thought was going to be a babyface for the next couple of years, especially when he was in that feud with Daniel Bryan, when he was super baby-facing it up in that feud with Daniel Bryan. But yeah, he tried to become friends with the New Day and even became a voluntary New Day member. And Kevin Owens did what he does best, and that's turn on people and stab them in the back, because that's kind of what Kevin Owens does. It's kind of his character. He will use whoever he can to get to the top and to become champion, even if it has to be at the expense of people, which he doesn't care about, because he's a heartless prick. And he loves it because he's going to do whatever it takes for him to win the championship, for him to make the big bucks for his family. Yeah, he's the perfect example of like having good intentions, but just still being a complete arsehole. And as for Kofi Kingston, I'm going to say he retains in this match, because Kofi Kingston just won the championship at WrestleMania, and I don't want him to be like every other super babyface champion that instantly loses it. Guys like, you think of guys like Rey Mysterio and Daniel Bryan, like guys who are super over with the fan base and were not your prototypical WWE champion, because they always ended up losing them very quickly. Although for Daniel Bryan's case it was because of real life stuff, but for like Rey Mysterio, if you remember his world title reign in 2006, he just looked like a complete bitch, and I hope Kofi Kingston can be the exception to that, because Kofi's busted his ass for 11 years, and it'd be a shame for him to have just a throwaway title reign like, unfortunately, every other big babyface has. So, for that reason, I kind of want him to retain in this match, but I actually think Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens could have a great match. I think Sami Zayn might interfere in this, and maybe the New Day will kind of even out the odds. But yeah, Kofi Kingston to retain. And then we get to what's most likely going to be the main event, and that is Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. Now, this match, when you just say Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles, this should be a match of the year candidate. Obviously, the feud for this has been kind of, I don't know, it hasn't really been that spectacular to me personally. I wish they could have built this up a lot better. But maybe that's because I haven't been paying attention to Raw lately, because it's shit. Just in case you didn't know. But I'm just really excited for this match. I hope they main event. I hope the WWE can let these two just let it go loose and just let them do whatever they need to do to just have an amazing match. And if they do let them do that, it could be legit one of the best wrestling matches we see this year. Like Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles has been a match I've been wanting to see for so long, because AJ Styles has been the workhorse of SmackDown Live since the brand split has started. And you could probably put the same thing with Seth Rollins when it comes to Monday Night Raw. I know in WWE's eyes they have kind of seen Roman Reigns as the face of Raw, but let's face it, Seth Rollins to me has been the true workhorse of Monday Night Raw. So to see arguably the two best workers in the company go at it for the championship, I mean, it should be nothing but successful. But I don't see AJ Styles winning it. I think Seth Rollins is going to do everything he can to win the championship. But then again, so can AJ Styles, and maybe he can get a heel turn, because if they're going to do an AJ Styles heel turn in the future, this would probably be a good place to do it. And have Rollins and AJ just have a fantastic feud if they really are going to expand beyond this match. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Seth Rollins to win it. But if Drew McIntyre does win the Money in the Bank ladder match, I think this would be a good thing for him to cash in on Seth Rollins. That is, if Seth and AJ just have an absolute bar burner, they go for like 25-30 minutes, and Seth just barely wins, and then Drew McIntyre just kind of scrapes in to pick up the scraps and win the Universal Championship, and that sets up a feud between Rollins and McIntyre. But yeah, once again, a lot of different possibilities they can go with this, which is good. Always good for wrestling. But yeah, Seth Rollins, the architect, the Beast Slayer is going to retain that Universal Championship. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below your opinions on Money in the Bank 2019, and if you're excited for the show and your predictions for it and everything. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've already said that already. And thank you so much for watching. I am out in 3, 2, 1.